Deadpool and Vanessa die, but not really. This is spoilers.
This is spoiler.
It's pretty much what happens. They die, but then they don't die.
Papa, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Papa, can you see me? Papa, can you find me in the night?
So, ready to get into it?
I guess so. It's just me and Brett. Two-man weave. Yeah. Everyone else on the podcast had an excuse or didn't want to do it with us.
Who wouldn't want to do it with us?
I'm Pappy, by the way, and that's Brett.
Go ahead and tell us where you're recording from.
Denver, Colorado.
Of course. This is Brett. I'm your somewhat host tonight. I'm recording from Fort Wayne, Indiana. So, yeah, let's just get into it. I figured we're going to have some differing opinions. We were chatting a little bit before. So, you went from telling me you didn't love it to you didn't really like it at all to telling me you didn't really hate it as much as you said. So why don't you go ahead and explain yourself?
All right, I do have some explaining to do. So, like, the circumstances under which I watched Deadpool 2 were actually a little bit weird. It was Friday night, and I left work early at like 3:30 because it was about to flash flood. But by the time I had like gotten to the highway, it was already way backed up, and it was starting to rain. So I hadn't eaten a dinner or anything, so I just like pulled into a movie theater and used my movie pass, which doesn't sponsor us, to buy a ticket to Deadpool 2. But like, I was so hungry and so cranky during the movie. Have you ever seen a movie hungry, Brett? Like, it ruins it.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the
I'm sure.
worst experience. Then you don't have any snacks.
Why didn't you were you running late?
Well, I made it just in time to start the screening, and it was one of those like dinner movie theaters. I don't know if you've ever been to like a.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't want to.
Yep,
I didn't want to spend like $25 on a burger, like when I had food at home and I wasn't planning on it. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
I don't know. So like when I saw it, there are certain elements of the plot. The way it starts off kind of slow, and there's like those flashbacks, which kind of just annoyed me at the time, and I was a little bit worried. But giving it space of a couple of days, like. I don't really remember any of that stuff. I just remember the funny jokes. I mean, you loved it, right?
Well, I thought it was really funny. I mean, I give it around a 3.5 out of 5. You know, it didn't blow me away or anything, and you know, I feel like they tried to jam as many jokes as possible in, which I'm never like not a fan of. And I think Ryan Reynolds is really funny. I think I mentioned that I thought some of the jokes early kind of missed a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I thought they just got funnier and funnier. And I think Ryan Reynolds is such a natural for this. And I don't know. I think thinking back to your story, you would have been better served if you would have gone to a normal theater where you could have gotten some
just like popcorn,
Sour Patch Kids or popcorn or something.
Bunch of Crunch.
Because you were hangry.
Well, you said something there like there's a lot of jokes in this movie. Like I do think that it has kind of a low batting average, but when it makes contact, like the jokes that hit are funny.
Yes, they were
really funny. But there's so many of them, and it's the Babe Ruth of jokes. It's like it's either a strikeout or a home run.
Yep,
so
for sure. That's pretty much baseball nowadays, anyway. But
yeah, launch angle. Oh, did you have any favorites? Any favorite jokes that stood out to you?
Oh man, I'm trying so hard to think. I can only think of. I thought it was a really ballsy storyline. And I got super pumped for it, but when they do the whole X-Force, and, you know, you got Terry Crews, who's kind of a TV star, and you got Bill Skarsgård, who is becoming one of my favorite actors, and, you know, this whole long, big speech about the X-Force, and then they all just die. Mm-hmm. That, when he falls into the wood chipper, and when Terry Crews goes into that bus, I thought that was pretty ballsy, and then to find out that was Brad Pitt.
The Brad Pitt cameo of the Invisible Dude, that was hilarious.
So great. Apparently he wanted to play Cable, but he couldn't because of scheduling, so that was kind of his. And I'm a big Josh Brolin fan, so
yeah.
But Brad Pitt, you know, I'm just drawing a blank. But there's so many jokes.
I think. I was gonna say the baby legs.
I was just gonna say everyone in the theater was like dying. I had never seen anything like that in my life.
Well, like in the way they did it too, it's like they made you think for a second that they weren't going to show the baby penis just because the scene went on for a really long time, and all of a sudden they do, and it's so like The joke just comes in
Yeah.
waves, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, that was, man, I didn't really know what to think about it. Actually, my eyes must not be very good because I never really quite saw it. But
Oh, I was ready for it. I was waiting for it. I was like, no.
let's see. I mean, can you think of any jokes? I mean, if you get my brain flowing, I might think of some more.
I would say there's one other one too. There's a set piece. It's not even like a joke. It's like a really quick flash, but they go to the X-Men mansion or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that was like my favorite joke of the whole
And you
movie.
see like Sophie Turner and who else do you see? James McAvoy.
I didn't know
think?
she was in there. It was James McAvoy, who's
Yeah.
my guy. The guy who's in Ready Player One. Can't think of his name right now.
Yeah,
Whoever plays Quicksilver, is it Evan Peters or something?
something like that. Yeah.
And then it was, I guess it was it Sophie Turner? Okay, yeah, it must have been Sophie Turner then. No, Beast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was really funny. I can't believe they got them to do that. I mean, it's becoming like a cameo. I mean, I didn't even recognize the other two big cameos in the movie until I read about them afterwards. Did you read about the two hillbillies?
No, who are they? Wait, which
It
hillbillies?
was Matt Damon and Alan Tudyk.
Wait,
Remember when they're drinking beer and he's talking about how you should wipe your butt, and then Cable shows up for the first time?
Oh, yeah. Like, so they're in like the truck in the field, right?
Yeah.
That's Matt Damon?
That's what he's credited as it, and I read about it, and yeah, and the other guy's Alan Tudyk, who like is a really good actor, and he's becoming known for like little weird cameos. And
He was K2SO in Rogue One.
Right.
He was he the chicken in Moana.
yeah, okay, yeah, I knew he played some other really small role.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't believe that. It's pretty funny.
That's nuts. Matt Damon is just killing it with the cameos lately. That's,
Yeah.
He's been doing that his whole career, though. He just kind of shows up for little parts in movies, like because he's the guy in Interstellar. He's Private Ryan.
Yeah. I made a little note, like the main kid, like drove me nuts at first, but he like grew on me, and I thought his like gangsta
Julian Dennison is his name.
his gangsta references were really funny, and I thought like when he kept trying to get in that guy's face and he kept getting punched, I thought that was really funny. I thought he annoyed me at first, but I thought he was kind of like a perfect not anti Ryan Reynolds, but they were kind of funny on screen together. So
Did you see Hunt for the Wilder People?
no, but I saw that he was in that.
Yeah, that's because he was all over the poster and all over the trailer, so he was kind of familiar. He was funny. I don't know.
I know, I'm with you. I didn't think he was like
He annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah. I didn't think he was great or anything. I just thought I think I just got more used to him. I mean, he actually legitimately drove me nuts for at least the first half of the movie, and then I thought he kind of got better and better. But his better wasn't like amazing or anything. But so I don't know. I was surprised. I know you're not surprised, but do you think the T.J. Miller thing? Do you think they dialed back his scenes for a reason, or do you think he just was kind of another small part?
So I was listening to a podcast today, actually Cinema Sins, and they interviewed, or that one of the guests they had on did the storyboarding for this, and he was claiming that didn't affect the scenes, that there were no scenes that were major cuts. I don't know if I believe that necessarily, but I don't think that he added a ton to the movie. You know what I mean?
I thought his torture scene was pretty funny, like the torture scene that wasn't.
Oh, when he just gives up the information right away.
He like talks about how he's gonna bend something back. He's like, "I'll tell you everything." Yeah, that was pretty funny. But he's like, playing T.J. Miller. So, and I was a little disappointed that the blind lady wasn't in it more, but she was really funny in it. So, she's kind of a little funny character.
Who did have a bigger part? Because they cut back on like Negasonic Teenage Warhead too,
Yeah.
but the cab driver guy,
Yeah,
he really stepped it up.
Yeah, he
has
was
a
funny.
bloodlust now too.
yeah. That Interview with the Vampire, which I've actually never seen, but
Oh yeah, when he's like, what does he
Taste for
say?
Blood or whatever. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the 12-year-old. What the heck is her name? Kirsten Dunst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Trying to think. What did you? I guess just tell everyone, what did you think of Josh Brolin? And are you a Josh Brolin fan?
Yeah, I really like Josh Brolin. My favorite movie of his is probably No Country.
Yeah, I knew you could say that.
Yeah, sorry. Well, what's yours? Is it?
Well, I mean,
Infinity War?
yeah, probably. I mean, I liked him in No Country for Old Men, but I'm probably one of the few people in the world that think that while it's a great movie, I always thought it was a little overrated. But I've only seen it once.
Okay.
So, but we'll save that for another pod another day. So,
Well, yeah, we actually did a podcast on No Country for Old Men.
Oh, yeah, I've listened to that.
But, I mean, yeah, I think he's a great actor. I think he killed it in this movie, and it's pretty absurd that he's going to be in two of these, like, I mean, now a comic book movie is the blockbuster movies. You know what I mean? They've basically taken over all of those spots. And he's in two huge summer blockbuster movies that are essentially going to go back-to-back #1 movies in America. That's crazy.
Yeah, that reminds me, I'll get to that in a second. Real quick. Yeah, I read that he signed on for four movies to play Cable. So, and I've read that, like Deadpool 3 was like a sure thing, but then like, just recently, like this month, Ryan Reynolds says he's not so sure it's going to happen again. Since they want to focus more on the X-Force, which obviously I think you should do as many Deadpools as you can. And even Disney said that they'd be willing to do a Deadpool movie and make it R-rated, but they want to make sure the audience knows it's R-rated. Like, people don't know that Deadpool's R-rated, but whatever.
Yeah.
You sent me some box office numbers. Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
I think, because we're recording this on a Tuesday the 22nd. Hopefully we get it out by like Thursday, maybe Wednesday, depending if our superhero correspondent leaves us a voicemail. But I think that this did, in fact, pass Passion of the Christ and It for the #2 opening R-rated weekend, I believe.
That reminds me, that was a pretty funny joke about Passion.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, it was really good.
Passion of the Christ, and then he puts his other hand slightly below it. Us.
Yeah. What does he say, like, Christians aren't in the other... I don't remember what he said. There are no Christians in the other... I don't know.
What?
Do you think this is going to underperform compared to the other Deadpool, or...
Well, here's the thing about the other Deadpool is it didn't have another superhero movie that made $30 million on the same weekend. And there's a lot of factors too that went into its kind of crazy flash in the pan success. That weekend was a 4-day weekend. It was President's Day.
Okay.
So a lot of people had Monday off. So the Sunday numbers stayed a lot stronger on that, and it was Valentine's Day weekend. And then it had a lot of legs afterwards because it came out in February and nothing came out after it. So I don't think it's going to have the lifetime domestic run just because there's a Jurassic Park movie coming around the corner.
Solo.
There's Ant-Man and the Wasp. Solo the next weekend. But, I mean, we're looking at, it says, according to Box Office Mojo, it made $125 million in 4,300 theaters. So that's pretty good. And it's the fact that it's an R-rated movie pulling down more than $120 million in an opening weekend. That's crazy.
Why do you think I read that they moved the date for Deadpool up. Do you have any idea why they would do that if it was... I mean, MCU, like you said, took a decent amount of their viewers away, but I read this was supposed to come out like June or July, but they moved it up to May, so...
I have no idea. I think there was a couple moving pieces, and I think that a lot of people thought that Solo was going to move to December after all of its production issues, and it didn't. It stayed in May. So I'm wondering if that might have been part of it too, but I'm really not sure. I'm speaking of the first one, unless you have anything else to say about the box office, but
nope.
What do you like better? Let's have that. Deadpool
man,
1 Deadpool 2.
I've been thinking about that personally. I mean, I'd like to see... I've seen Deadpool 1 like 3 or 4 times. I'd really like to see this one again. I would say what I usually say with sequels, like with Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, the first one might be like a better movie to a lot of people, but I thought the second one was funnier. And I'd probably say the same for this. But I don't know. I'll watch again. I mean, I think Deadpool, the first one, was like a classic, so we'll see if Deadpool 2 stands up the second time I watch it. Because, like we said, there's so many jokes. I'd like to see possible references that I missed the second time around. So, what about you? Definitely the first one for you, right?
Yeah, I definitely like the first one more. I thought it was more of kind of a straightforward story, and we didn't even mention like in the end or that last kind of scene where he dies. There's that whole flashback, and then he doesn't die because Cable changes the outcome, and they try to make it, well, that's just lazy writing. You can only use it once, but like they're meta, but they're also leaning on the crutch too. You know what I mean? It's kind of playing that game. But
time travel. I mean, time travel is you're always gonna have problems like that with time. I mean, you can literally that's a big complaint about Infinity Wars. Oh, it didn't mean anything. Well, that's probably true. When you get time travel involved, it's just anything goes. And yeah, it can be lazy writing, but
that's every comic book, though. I hate when people complain about that for a comic book movie. It's like, yeah, no, of course things don't stay permanent.
I definitely don't complain about that kind of stuff. I mean, it's people who shoot laser beams out of their eyes. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's fantasy, so it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, but, like I was saying, it's just like that whole like time travel element, and then the weird intro that takes. I don't know. I feel like they're just kind of padding the runtime a little bit. So I like the first one more, and I think moreover, it was just a breath of fresh air, and I hate that phrase because it's so like overused, but it was at the time comic book movies. I don't think there had been that. It hadn't quite turned the corner. The quality has gone up quite a bit in the last 2 years, even.
For sure.
At the time, like that was like Age of Ultron. Like they needed someone to like make fun of them, to turn the mirror on them, and poke fun a little bit. So I just think because of that, I'll always like the first one a little bit more. But that's not to say the second one wasn't as funny. I think it's equally as funny.
Yeah, and the first one had the benefit of, holy crap, that credit scene was amazing, and he's talking to the camera, and he's making references about Ryan Reynolds when he's Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool. Second one, like you expected all that.
Yeah.
So, before we wrap it up, do you real quick want to talk about this mid-credit scene? Anything you liked in particular?
Honestly, I had to like just look it up later because I was so hungry I left.
Oh man!
So that's why I wanted to make sure you saw it. Okay, explain. Yeah, tell me what happens. Like for someone who didn't stay.
Okay, so Negasonic Warhead and I don't remember her name.
Her girlfriend.
Yeah.
Who loves Deadpool and Deadpool loves her, and they're like best friends.
Yeah, it's really funny. And Negasonic like hates her.
Can I bring up one more gag real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Cable is racist gag fucking killed me the whole movie. Oh,
because of the Black Tom or whatever?
Yeah, or like they kept trying to, like, every chance Deadpool got, he's like, we have a little bit of luck and a splash of racism. And like and Cable's just like, dude, I'm not racist.
They were perfect together because they're like polar opposites. That's why I thought they were really good when they were together, and then I like how they teamed up at the end.
That bit killed me. But sorry, go ahead.
No, that's right. So they fix his little time warp thing, and he goes back, and he kills the Deadpool from the Wolverine. Not the Wolverine, but Wolverine Origins.
That's hilarious.
He shoots him in the head. It's really funny. He saves Vanessa, obviously. It shows Ryan Reynolds looking at a script, and he's like, we made it, Ryan. And he's looking at Green Lantern, and he sneaks up behind him and shoots him in the head. And crap, I don't remember what else. Dang, man, I think I'm missing something, but it was really funny.
But essentially, she's back to life now, right? Like
yes,
the next
I actually
movie
had to look. I looked up on Wikipedia the plot just to be like, okay, are we supposed to take this as canon? Did this really happen? And it says, yeah, that she's alive. So there's that. But so yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. You got anything else?
No, just Ryan Reynolds is apparently not over the whole Green Lantern shit at all.
They made a couple references to it. It's pretty funny, yeah.
But no, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think good podcast. We'll either play Pat, our superhero correspondent's voicemail now, or we'll just wrap up the podcast. That was Spoilers.
What's left to do with these broken pieces on the floor? I'm losing my voice, calling on you.
Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Twitter is @spoilers_pod. Our Instagram is Podcast Spoilers. It's lit. Josh Hensley from the Rutabaga wrote our theme. Our number is 903-776-4507. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes. Please don't forget to leave us a review by searching for Movie Spoilers, clicking on the cereal bowl, select the Reviews tab, and leave us some stars and some words. That was Spoilers.
And when I pray to God